on the fact that they're there to find a partner. They say all is fair in love and war, and don't get me wrong, everyone should fight and everyone is entitled to want to fight for who they like. But there were moments where it felt like the fighting was a bit too much. So we had obviously Camille being very possessive with Cornelius, even though she says she wasn't. It was clear for everyone to see that as soon as she saw Cornelius, she really wanted to be with Cornelius and no one else was going to get him. Then we also saw that Zadia had the same traits as well when it came to people like Dante. She really didn't take well to it that Dante liked Aisha. So this in itself made her feel very angry and feel like she's entitled to be with Dante and have the guys like her. So this didn't really seem to make any sense whatsoever, because it's a dating show where people are supposed to date several people. It's not a show where you're supposed to date one person, because as we all know, you won't make it to the end if only one person likes you. But for some reason, with this season, even though there were people that only liked one person, for example, let's say Camille, they seemed to make it quite a long way throughout the show. But I'm not sure who was voting for them. So it seemed like people were just voting for people because they were too scared to not vote for someone else, or they were trying to stick to their friends. This was a very weird way of trying to fight for love. Again, it's okay to fight for love, but let's not deny this was a very strange approach by many people. It was also the season where it seemed like a lot of things were taking place off screen that we didn't know. So there were scenes that would happen and people would stop talking to each other or seem like they don't like each other. If we talk about the Shiloh and the Phil situation, that was very strange. One minute they were happy and the next episode they weren't really talking to each other, and we realized things were happening off screen. Now, I know obviously in reality TV world, there are things that will happen off screen and you won't see it. But this kind of takes away the whole drama of reality TV, because you want to see the arguments and the fight happen in real life. So as an audience, we were just catching up with things we didn't even know. When Shiloh claimed that Phil dragged her or lifted her or touched her, we couldn't even have a reference because we didn't see anything happen. And Phil was trying to stand up for himself, but again, we didn't see the situation. So this makes it very awkward when you're watching a show and people are talking about things that happened off screen. Is it something perhaps the producers have to work on? Making sure that they don't really interact that much with each other off screen, because it does ruin the drama for the audience when they're speaking about things we don't actually know. In previous seasons, there have been love triangles, diamonds, squares, whatever shape you choose. But this season felt like there were a lot of love shapes and a lot of unrequited love and people not being honest. It seemed like Frank wasn't really that into Moomin, even though he claims he was, which is fair to him, but from where we were sitting, it didn't seem like he was. But he kept her going till the end. Then it seemed like Sydney was torn between Phil and Frank. Then at one point it seemed like Phil was torn between Shiloh and Sydney. And then Moomin likes Walter, but then she ended up choosing Frank at the end. And it was just a mess. There were a lot of people that didn't really seem to have one person they were really focusing on, even when it got to the final episode, which makes for great drama. And I think this was a great part of the show because you really wanted to see what was going to happen. So that's definitely a good side. But it was very confusing because if you're ready to love, why would you need the final episode in the last minute to be able to choose who you want to actually date? That's quite strange. Speaking of last minute, let's not forget Sabrina and Walter. So Sabrina knew from quite a while that her and Walter weren't going to work because she wasn't really feeling it. But she let Walter be led on all the way to the final episode, and then when they were on the bridge, she said to him she doesn't think it's going to work because he never put her first. Now this is very justified, but also very weird that she felt that she had to drag out all of this to the very last minute. Again, something that is very strange about this season. Let me know in the comment section if you thought this season was a wild one, and if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it. I can't lie, there was a lot of drama which was very entertaining, even though it did start off quite slow. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and join me for the next season. Bye.
Getting ready to help some more singles make meaningful connections.
I know that's